Good evening, it's Shale Day. I wanted to make a video about what to do when you recognize you've been triggered by something that makes you go back to a time where you recognize it reminds you, most likely subconsciously, of a traumatic event. So, narcissists are real good at reprogramming your subconscious mind with repeated stories, behaviors, the subtle ways that they treat you, some of the things that they manufacture in social settings when you're around a group of people to always make you come out on the bottom. So naturally, when you've been around narcissistic people, or even worse, you were raised in a narcissistic family, sometimes you will basically allow yourself to be drained by situations that are meant to actually teach you how to overcome things that otherwise have kept you in an endless loop. And the reason why I'm doing this video is I recognized something within myself today. So I've learned whenever I recognize that I'm triggered by something, as we learn how to do, because we're very introspective people, I start looking at things introspectively. And so one of the things that I recognized why I was triggered by this particular individual was because for most of my life, sorry, my throat's a little, this weather is crazy. But for most of my life, I had always been invalidated. I was always told that I shouldn't feel a certain way. I shouldn't have a certain reaction, that everything that I did, where it was, if I started crying because, my mother or sibling or somebody said something rude or cruel to me, I had no right to feel that way. And so I had to actually think about this one, because I felt as though I was talking to him in plain English, which I was, but I also put myself in his shoes, because I was fortunate enough to grow up around technology my whole life. So like using different phones and different computer software and programs comes easily and naturally to me. And I sometimes forget that it doesn't always for other people. So I may have triggered something in him. So he had a difficult time utilizing one of the applications at work. And so I just, he asked me some questions about things, and he didn't really want to hear what I had to say, because I was just trying to help him. I was like, oh, just try this and try that. And he was getting frustrated with it. And so later on, he started projecting his shortcomings technologically onto me, knowing that I, of course, am the one that's able to train him. And we were also, because we were working in a group of 3, were asked to coach him along the ways. So he felt some kind of way. So everything that came out of my mouth, he was really combative and resisted about, because he felt some kind of way. And he probably thinks I'm younger than him, but I happen to be 42 years old. And sometimes people think I'm younger than what I really am. So there's all these like human ego things. But it was very frustrating engaging with him. And so, even though I wasn't like really upset at him, I just found that I felt like it was like just like going against the resistance of like, a rush of like the torrent of water, like just like flowing in. And so it just made me think about some things. So I realized like the root of why, because he was trying to invalidate, even though I was speaking truth. And so even my partner did this too, because they didn't want to get involved in, so like I would just like go up to the side, but I would still talk to him very cordially. But it's that. And so when you're dealing with, or have dealt with narcissistic people your entire life, you always have the urge to want to explain yourself. And that's also a huge red flag, when you have to explain like basic principles to somebody about something. They're actually getting off on just burning your energy, and that's not cool either. I don't think that he had any nefarious intentions. I just think that he was, he was kind of like triggered in another sort of way that I wasn't. And so it goes both ways. And sometimes we can be hyper vigilant when we've been, in the throes of narcissistic abuse, and we think that everybody that we have a rough interaction with, especially when we're new in our healing, is potentially a narcissist. And that's not true either, but as you start to grow in your healing, because there was times when I used to have like flashbacks and go into like shaking modes, like, like just my mind was like gone. I was isolated for all the wrong reasons because I was afraid. And so I was afraid to establish, I didn't trust anybody. And that's part of the hypervigilance. So anyways, I just wanted to, just like remind those of you who are new on this journey to just acknowledge your triggers when you become aware of them, because that helps so much in your healing journey. It helps you take command of your emotions and start to take stock and inventory of your mind and erase all those negative, programs and the narcissist instilled in you. Anyways, have a good one. Thank you. Bye.